Hey, happy Thursday. Just kind of really dig this hotel. I'm glad to see it's getting a new lease on life. I figured we'd walk through Hollywood. I'm gonna walk up and down Franklin towards Hollywood and then dip down to Hollywood Boulevard. It's a beautiful day. I think 78 degrees, maybe 79, maybe 80. Still pretty temperate compared to East Coasters. But hot for me. So I hope with the refurbishment of this hotel, it kind of gets a historic designation because it's pretty cool. And another drive-through motel down the street got one, and it's not half as cool, personally speaking. So thank you guys so much for joining us here on this sunny Thursday on the East Coast. Hope you are staying cool, air conditioned. The cool thing about Los Angeles is it has a bunch of like little tiny neighborhood places. Let's look somewhere else. Let me know if you cannot hear me. Since they're updating Prism, they're updating Prism something new every day, so I can't see the chat right now. If you're there, please feel free to say howdy do. And I can't see the. Hold on. All right. Well, I couldn't see the chat, and I also couldn't see the microphone message that I usually get. But before signing in, I plugged and unplugged it a couple times. So I hope you are all doing well. We're gonna walk down, as I said, Franklin towards Hollywood. Kind of a nicer walk. I mean, just something a little bit different. I love those little bungalows right there, like little tiny single houses all in a row. I'm sure it was like a cool courtyard at one time. Kind of reminds me of The Day of the Locust, an apartment that Karen Black lived in. I really also love that movie. I think when we talk about California movies, that's one I'd never mention. I think it's kind of Hollywood specific. Really weird. If anyone is there, please say hi. I'm just doing this to see if the chat works. Oh, it doesn't. Also, I'm trying to give myself space. There we go. That's excellent. I couldn't see the chat for a couple seconds. Kinda tripping me out. So there you guys are. Hey, Eleanor. Hey, Joe. Just left a little earlier today. than I usually do. I think I'm gonna try to do like 10:30 tomorrow. I think that would be kind of interesting. I'd like to show you guys that the sky isn't always blue. Usually gray till like 11. Oh, I will order that cord for you as soon as I'm done. The other phone is just not set up for that. Oh my god. Little helicopter action. My water just fell out of my bag. Hey, Mary. You know, I noticed that your cute little puppy there in the picture kind of looks like one of our dogs, actually. Happy Thursday. Trotting around Los Feliz, or Los Feliz if you prefer. I really would love to walk up there. Maybe not today. I'm not going to say it's hot, because relatively speaking, it is not hot compared to the rest of the country, but it's not a hill hiking day. I think mine is like Jack Russell, some kind of terrier, and Dachshund. Because he's got really long ears, but the same cutie little face, tons of energy. Always wants to play. Also, like, will and can play by himself, even though we have another dog. The other dog is like a poodly, just real chill guy. They're like yin and yang, like a yin and yang. I never have had, well, I've had a puppy before, but I never get puppies. It's really kind of, because I just don't know that I'd be able to house train them. I'm sure I would, because I have. But he's got, it's been watching him go from being freaked out, the Jack Russell, our terrier, to being kind of lovey, nonstop talker, grumbler, complete different personality than the other dog. They totally like get along. My other dog is more likely, the poodly dog is more likely to hunt down prey for some reason, and is also as sweet and cuddly as he is. He's a terrible walker. Really always wants to go only the way he wants to go, and will literally stop and hold you still, and then you'll have to like pull him, and you just look like a dog meanie. The terrier, the one that looks like your dog, he is a pleasure to walk, actually. I'm gonna put my water back in my bag till it falls out again and scares me. Also, he is really good at tricks. We didn't teach him to sit pretty, but the other dog, the poodle, somehow knows how to get on his hind legs and beg. So somehow he taught, or somehow the dog that looks like yours, he kind of learned how to do that from the other dog, and so now they'll both beg. But he knows how to look at you when you tell him to look at you, and lie down, which he does very cutely. But the dachshund part of him is the part that's a little bit mean. Dachshunds are super bitey, and you can really only tell he's a dachshund. Sorry, start reading. Brave bull. You can really only tell he's a dachshund because he has those crooked paws. Before I realized he was a dachshund, he was so kind of shell-shocked a little bit that I really thought he had maybe had broken legs, which is sad. Grand Central Market yesterday was so hot inside, and I walked by the ice cream shop that we usually go to earlier in the day, and the guy was out in the corner offering samples. It was completely empty. I just thought it couldn't have been better day to go back there. So I did go to Grand Central Market. I did stop at McConnell's, and they honestly had the most boring ice cream flavors. Marionberry tart, but like it's not just like a tart ice cream, just Marionberry tart. So it's got, which that sounds really good, but you know, you can get that in grocery stores. Also, nobody talked about me staying there. We'll go back. It's a regular stop for us. Hey Cecilia, happy Thursday. We're just up on Franklin. I'm gonna take the high road into Hollywood. Check out what's going on. See if we can't walk down some of these streets before the signal goes out. Every once in a while I watch the Venice Beach live cam. I usually don't chat in there. It's kind of a different scene than here, right? Not bad, not good, just different, just a little different. Usually I don't chat in there, but I did see, or we did see, I should say, the mighty bull enter the room and bless the room and the people, and you know, it's a little prayer for the homeless, which is really kind of lovely. I love when he stops by and says that. I am paraphrasing what he actually says. And somebody's like, I can't remember the response, but it was just dickish. I feel like he's a legend, actually. Not a legend like my members, but a legend in his own right. We've walked up here before. It's the Hollywood Grove Historic Preservation Center. Little shade for a second. I want to take a second. I have totally updated this 100%. Our awesome members. I want to thank you guys. And then we'll carry on with our walk. I really appreciate your support. And I love creating stuff for the members, actually. I get to be a little more creative than on our walks, which is always fun. I actually am thinking of resurrecting a couple of maybe that's not the best word to use, live walks to turn into member videos where I couldn't quite, just by virtue of the fact that I was walking or whatever, I couldn't quite tell the story I wanted to tell. So I might do that for that rock and roll walk that we took. Yay, members! High walking in LA. Hi, Brave Bull. I've had it's Thai. This place, Pimai, is really great. I've never had a donut or coffee from that place, but I would really love to try it. We're on Canyon. We're gonna cross. One of the craziest things I've ever seen in California, actually, which I've only ever seen in California, and maybe I was just blind to it in Boston, but is places where you can go in and wash your dog. So I see them less and less, but there used to be a chain of places called like You Wash Doggy. And it basically is you go in and you can wash your dog in there. I never did it. I prefer my bathtub. I would imagine I would end up with some type of arrest record if I tried to wash doggy in my underwear like I generally do. One time we went to this donut shop, bad donut story. We went to this donut shop on Santa Monica Boulevard, and there it is, tail washers. Just after we ordered the donut, got it put in the bag, grabbed a piece to take a bite out of it, we saw a cucaracha crawling in their donut rack. Even though it wasn't our donut rack or where our donut was, like we couldn't eat it. I just was so grossed out. Tail waggers and tail washers. It was totally gross. It's just disgusting. The place is open. This was like 2 years ago. Every time I walk by, I just kind of look in and I'm like, ah, gross. So, I think you live donut vicariously through me. I don't think I've ever eaten as many donuts and ice creams, and actually maybe I take the ice cream back, so frequently and often as I do for you all. But I will tell you, my blood work is off the charts, so I think I've got some room for donutting. Flies in the case are gross, but like, who hasn't had a fly land in their food outside? Like a fly, not like a shit fly, you know? Like, I guess they're all shit flies, right? But there's something about a cockroach that is just beyond the pale for me. So up this street, we are on Bronson Avenue. We're usually below Hollywood on Bronson Avenue. We've walked up this street before. I'm probably going to lose my connection and have to turn around. This is a great hiking spot if you like continue up this road. I'm changing the subject. Also, at the foot, more or less, or maybe like at the beginning of the hiking part, the original Bat Cave is there from the 1960s Batman show. I'm not walking by Bob Barker's home, but it's only $8.9 million. I felt like it was kind of a steal. And then I saw the video where they did a walkthrough of Bob Barker's house, and I like the idea of a 1920s historical Spanish home like that, but sometimes people shouldn't be allowed to redecorate. Oh, this is a gorgeous street, Bronson. This is how Charles Bronson got his last name, according to his first wife, told to me. Figured that one out. I love all these craftsmen. Kind of reminds me of the house that we stayed at this weekend. The place that we went to was really so cute. There's a house around the corner for sale. It's a stucco craftsman instead of a shingled craftsman. And it was like for sale for $390,000. Huge lot, huge, huge for a craftsman. I don't know if it was Harriet Bronson. I can't remember her name. I was just kind of helping her out with something. And she, at the time, I lived on Bronson, and she asked me, oh, you live in Hollywood? And I was like, yeah, where do you live in Hollywood? And I said, oh, I live on Bronson. And also, my first name is Charles. I think that made her instantly start talking to me. I did notice, actually, I don't think we've ever walked up this street, but when I get a chance, I'm going to cross it. What is that crazy cage in front of that house? I don't know if you can see it. And Bob Barker's backyard also didn't really seem like $8.9 million it had. Like my dream grill, one of those rolling stainless steel grills, a teeny tiny kidney-shaped pool. Francis of Assisi, he loved animals. This house was in Vicente. I'll take it right now. Probably going to be like 900 something. But it's a rundown craftsman that for years this old woman lived in. This old German lady. And I just never spoke very deeply with her, and I really regret it. I'm sure she could have told me some really cool. We're gonna circle back out of this, just hang tight. Hold on. That might have, that should do it. There we go. We've walked up here before and the same thing happened, so I'm gonna try to get out of here ASAP. That bird cage is kind of insane. Oh, I'm sorry, running guy. Whew, sorry about that. There's thanks for standing by. There's like a real spot up there where the connection just unalives. I experienced that before. I kind of knew better, but I figured I would try anyway. Here's hoping. That's Foothill Drive. That goes up into the hills. I would love to walk up there, but I think we'd probably get a little stuck with our connection. I would never cut the cheese out loud on a microphone. Pretty respectful that way. I'd save it for an elevator ride with a group of strangers. But I would ne'er embarrass myself in front of you guys. I love this house. So cute. I wonder, I always think that the bars went up on all these windows during the like Manson times. That's kind of what I imagine. Silent but deadly always works because you can kind of give someone else a dirty look. So we're on the street above Franklin. This looks like a 1930s kind of Little Rascals building over here. I would never really do it. In fact, I would, in polite society, I think it's kind of frowned upon. I do bend the rules for burping because I just love, personally, a good burp. I feel like I always have to burp too. I mean, I don't burp in public, but you get the drift. I love the use of the breeze blocks. I wonder if they actually contribute to a breeze in that building or if they're just decorative. Tamarind Avenue, right down at the bottom of that. Scientology Center, not haunted, but weird. I have a wad of trash to throw out desperately, and none of the trash cans are ever on the side of the street that I am, but here it comes. I kind of hate going in someone's yard to throw away the trash, but it's just a small piece. Better there than on the sidewalk. We're gonna take a left up here. A nice slow incline. I hit about almost 6 miles yesterday, I think at 5.7. Every day I say I'm gonna start my watch. Most days I don't do it. I've already been walking for a bit now, so I don't think that would be eventful to start my watch. So we're just leaving Chula Way. We're gonna walk down to Franklin. ABD. Happy Thursday. I might try to take a few more offshoot streets to see how far we can also go. We have previously walked up Beechwood Canyon, so I probably won't try that today. It really, on Beechwood Canyon, it just about starts to fritz out at the same spot. I just kind of stopped because I thought I would cross the street here, although it looks like it's Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Okay. Oh, gee. I just want to get across the street. There's a really gorgeous high school over here. On the outside, hopefully on the inside it's well maintained because it's an oldie. I think it was trash day, so normally they end up on the sidewalk till people get home from work, which is nice when you're walking your dog. You can just toss that poop in there, but probably not good for the owner because their trash barrel will smell like poop. So this is the Cherimoya Avenue School, or Cherimoya Avenue School. I could be saying it wrong. We'll look at it. There's our Scientology Celebrity Center over there in Franklin Village. This beautiful school. It's a lot bigger than the camera makes it look. Uh-oh. I 90% take my poop bag back to my trash because I have a dumpster. It's just easier. I don't want to get yelled at by anybody, but that was like a piece of paper, cardboard, I needed to throw out. It's not adding any smell to anybody's trash bins. We're coming up on Gower. Normally I would turn left here versus continuing on because I hate the upcoming intersection. You'll see why. It's a sticky one. Also, if we walk left towards Gower, what a cool building. Right? It's actually really quite beautiful though, that building. So, looking down at Gower, not interesting spot to land on Hollywood Boulevard. I'm so excited for the July 4th. Not really, but kind of. I get to spend the night comforting my dogs while Joe plays a show. My one dog I was talking about earlier, the terrier, is just really sensitive about firework noise. The other dog is also, but in a less noticeable way. Like the other dog will find somewhere quiet to lie. This dog is noticeably nervous and shaky when the fireworks are going off. And living in the city, they started going off about a month ago. I stopped doing anything on the 4th of July when I lived in Boston because 4th of July and New Year's Eve, I will go to somebody's house on New Year's Eve or somebody's party, but like being out on the street on either one of those days is just miserable. I feel like the 4th of July is always the hottest day of the year, and then when you're in Boston, it's hot, humid, and you're in a crowd of people all trying to find a place on the Charles River Park to put their blanket. Oh, no worries. And it gets a little yucky, and then you bump into people, and maybe somebody loses their Rottweiler because it's also scared of fireworks and it runs loose. What happened to my friend? I just stopped going to 4th of July's that year. And the funny thing is, I probably lived closer to the 4th of July celebration that year than any other time, but it's the hassle of going there, getting there, finding parking, and then just other people's body heat. We're going to take a left on Argyle and dip down. This is going to be a tough corner. This is why I never, ever, ever take this way. I'd rather stay at home with my doggy also. And then let's talk about New Year's Day. New Year's Eve, rather. Again, bad memories from Boston. It just being a horribly cold, bitter cold, total lack of humidity on New Year's Eve, day to be out. So right over there, the freeway entrance. Hollywood Bowl is on the other side of this. We're gonna dip down. I actually, when I thought about this walk, thought about keep going this way, but once I go under the underpass, it's just hot and no shade, and maybe not the most attractive spot. Just New Year's Eve, I can remember giving up on a lot earlier. On a particularly freezing cold first night in Boston. Literally terrible. Sorry, I'm so hot from standing in the sun and waiting for this stupid light to work. Yay, it changed. Okay. Look, that's not the bus I took, but pretty close. When you drive into Hollywood, it's not this exit, but the next exit that you get off. It's kind of fun to see all of even the Patron, the signs up there, and then the Capitol Records building. That's kind of a lovely view from the freeway. Oh my god. I've heard people wear Depends. The astronaut diaper is what I call it. Do you remember that lady astronaut that was like obsessed with her ex-boyfriend and drove from like Florida to Texas? Don't quote me on that. In order to not stop, she wore a diaper. We are at Yucca and Argyle. This building is only a couple years old, Argyle House. I'm gonna try to cross. I love this sign here for the Yucca Apartments, which have no vacancy, mind you, and are really not even there. So we got Pantages down there. We could go down there. Let's just get a last look over here. I kind of want to walk by the Capital and Vine. I would love some fried plantains. Before I left, I made sure I had a delicious chicken salad sandwich so I wouldn't be too hungry on my walk. I made chicken breast for dinner last night, and we also had a different kind of sandwich, like a melt, if you will. I'm going to do it anyway. And I always make an extra chicken breast when I do that, so we have something for lunch. Today we had chicken salad. I was really bummed out I didn't think of it the night before because I really love celery and onion in chicken salad, and grapes. sourdough bread, really soft. We, I'm kind of embarrassed, but whenever we need like a week of quick lunches, we'll get a loaf of bread. And we get this loaf of bread from Smart and Final, and it's got to be food service bread. It's sourdough bread. I haven't looked at the nutritional label. I'm usually pretty fibery when I look at bread. It's like sourdough bread, but it's so soft like Wonder Bread. Like you barely need to chew it. It makes the best grilled cheeses. That's why we had grilled cheeses. Um, I just love it. You know, Yuca's kind of pretty. It's kind of cute on Yucca. It had a really bad time for many, many years, but like, it's come up again. Like there's this whole little old-fashioned downtown area up ahead of us. I've walked through this before, with little shops. And there is a grocery store over there. I'll come around the corner and there's our old familiar guy. I don't think it has a flag on the top of it today, though. I never noticed it before, but all the Beatles stars are over here, and Roy Orbison. They're all music. Wow, and I also never noticed that that's the actual street door for that. Oh. The Yucca really had a bad rep. It's called the drug supermarket for a while. Shelley Winters. So I was reading some weird thing about weird things. Specifically, the bar that's attached to the Pantages, sorry. LA Record Farm, good looking people. The Frolic Room. And I swear it said something about it having a golden alleyway, and I was like, I've never heard that before. I would love to do a beach walk. Let's see if we can arrange that this weekend. I would almost like to do an end of day beach walk. I just want to see if I can see the golden alleyway. Nope. I love this building. I wish I felt secure, like driving to the beach, doing like, a live stream, and then packing my stuff up in my car and then just lying on the beach. And I would not want to lose my equipment. I wonder what they use that little top floor of the Broadway department store for. Maybe a restaurant?
They sent me something, said they're gonna do another section.
Pantages. Just missed the light. I want to cross and go to the shady side of the street, so we'll probably be waiting an hour. Just kidding. I like the fact that the showgirls lights are already on. I love the fact these people are also crossing the street illegally. I'm not going to do that. Oh, that's really nice. Thanks, BD. I was kind of thinking the other day how much more I know about it also. How kind of, how much more comfortable it is to me, and also, I was really, Los Angeles is a big city. I was always really under the impression that it was just impossible to walk around in, but I do it all the time, and it's actually much smaller than it is in my head. And also, 5 miles is no big deal. Whenever I hear that story about Abraham Lincoln walking 5 miles a day to school, I'm no longer impressed. But that did impress me as a child when I would walk maybe 1 mile to school. I would love to go to Huntington Beach and do a live stream. I would need to convince Joe though, because we really love Venice, much closer. It's, for me, one thing that I love about doing this is I often want to see what some place looked like at a certain time. And I'm sure one day we'll have access to that type of stuff. But for right now, we're just like recording the changes or the way it is right now for posterity, maybe until my channel gets canceled because I use the D word, which is unalived, by the way. You really learn a city when you take public transportation. Most cities have bus routes that are set up the most sensible way to get places. Not always the most direct, but a sensible way. And if you can learn a sensible way to get places, especially now that we have like a guide in our pocket, I think it's kind of cool. Unless your guide is my second phone that I use, and every time you turn it on, by the time it loads whatever you're looking up, it turns off. Then you're better off with a MapQuest printout. Happy birthday, Hummer. So I might have mentioned this before, but one summer, to learn the basic like corridors and structure of the city of how I would get back to work in Beverly Hills from Hollywood when I first moved here, taking the bus was pretty awesome. But really learning the city the best way possible is probably driving, because for 3 months during a summer, decided that I would work it was before Uber and it was maybe a little bit before Uber and Lyft completely took over, but there was a third carrier called Sidecar, and I did food delivery for them. I didn't really like driving people around, as you can imagine. I heard that the guy who won the mayoral race in New York, or at least the first round, mentioned that he wanted to do free public transportation for everybody, for every New Yorker, and I thought that was pretty Pretty incredible, actually. Oh. I think I've only ever used a car service once. It's almost like with Waymos and Ubers and Lyfts and whatnot, you don't really need anything like that. Or like, remember the shuttle bus to the airport? I forgot what it was called, airport shuttle. Flyaway. The Waymo is, hey, how are you? The Waymo is now in my neighborhood. Speaking of Waymo, there goes one.
Nobody is. This guy's by itself.
Dude, there are some people from out of town, yeah, marveling about the Waymo. I have to admit, like 1 or 2 years ago, in Culver City, you would run into them all the time because they were driving back to Santa Monica. And that was before they were like on the road. Sometimes there would be a person driving in them, and I always thought it was a Google, like, because that big thing on the top, I thought it was like a Google car. Whatever, taking like pictures. And then I started to see them alone. And I was like, it's kind of a weird to be at a red light and have a driverless car pull up to you. Oh. The only time I ever took a car service was when my work was paying for it. But I like the idea of you calling a car service. When I first started making videos before I live stream, I was down in Alvera Street. And maybe the guy is in this video. But there was a dude walking around with a crazy backpack on. And it was like, whoops, skid out. It was like doing what the Google Earth car does, but like on a sidewalk and pedestrian path level. And I thought, I really want that job. Did I look into it? No. Honestly, I like the flexibility of being able to call an Uber or a taxi. Let's say you get off the airplane and it was a crazy flight and you just want to like sit down for 15 minutes. Or your luggage is a little bit late. You've got somebody waiting for you. I hate when people wait for me. I hate having people waiting for me. Gives me a tremendous amount of anxiety. I also I sometimes hate waiting for people when they're really late also. I used to be really late a lot for everything. I love the wig outfitters. You know, the Jane's house is right over there. That's irrelevant. Well, it's not irrelevant, but at the same time I shot the Jane's house, I actually kind of was working on something about this building also. This is where Bordner's is. Like a gangster hangout. Probably not gonna walk down that way at this time. I passed by the soft serve. Name that tune. You're right, I did walk by it. I'm gonna walk back that way, so I want to definitely walk by Jane's house again, but I want to go in the little mall that it's in. Hey J Kim, how are you doing? Yeah, we were holidaying for a couple days. Wow, a 1-inch tattoo, $50. I don't know what a flash tattoo is. He's a hot puppy. How's it going? I wonder if this black sidewalk is like hotter than the sidewalk in my neighborhood. I was watching YouTube probably this morning, and I saw like in Missouri a street buckling from the heat as a car was driving, like right before a car drove over it, and it became kind of like a ramp for this like Honda to fly over. Okay, I still have a few more museos to visit in Hollywood for this month. Wax Museum, check. I'm not going to the Hollywood Theater Museum because it's too weird unless you want to see like a tiny version of me in a giant chair. In the Giant's house. Or the Upside Down house. But we did go to the Wax Museum, loved it. You can see it, members video. And then Ripley's Auditorium on the corner up here. So that leaves two museums that I kind of want to go to. The Torture Museum, which is over there, and I wonder if they will let me film in it. And then the Max Factor Building Museum, which they didn't respond to my email, so I may feign tourist and just go in there pretending like I'm filming for my friend who had appendicitis and couldn't make our Hollywood vacation. I wish when I did the Ripley's video, I'd done it with my actual camera, my phone camera, instead of the 4K camera, because it really is a lot easier to control, and I could have shown you all of that fun stuff, including Zoltan. They have so many Zoltans in here, or Zoltar versions of that guy. I loved visiting that museum, so I want to do this Hollywood Museum or the Torture Museum next as a members video. I just have to see how clandestine I can be. I try to, like, so you know how they can be monetized? I try to take the member videos and make them not monetizable, so I don't have to eliminate too much of the music, or like Bye 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 by the Backstreet Boys. I would have had to erase that from the Ripley's Believe It or Not video. Then you wouldn't have been able to see me dancing my way out of the auditorium. That's odd. ODD. Auditorium. There's also the Academy Award Museum on Wilshire Boulevard, and I think that one's free. I think you do have to pay for the Grammy Museum. Can you believe that bank was only open for like 2 years? I don't know why I did this. I definitely want to stay on this side of the street. And cross at the other end. Hey, Allie. Happy Thursday. It's Elvis. So I mentioned this yesterday. I need to keep mentioning it because I really want it to happen, but there's... Oh, look. Hey, Ellie, there's a Kobe mural up there that we have never seen before. Kobe winning an Oscar, I think. And just barely see him. Hey, Robert Rubin. Sorry, I can't see. I'm trying to focus on Kobe. Anyway, oh, people lined up for Jimmy Kimmel. Fortunately, it's the shady side of the street. Right? I don't know what you would need VIP for that. It's free.
Get better recording.
Huh? I just took it last week. You're trying to sell me a tour. I don't know when that. I don't know when the that mural appeared, because we are over here all the time. And honestly, it could be a little more prominent. That would be what I would say. Spider-Man's hand is really dirty. So since we are at Man's, we're gonna see. And also, this is how I know my phone listens to me. I now have Fluffy stand-up comedy comes up on my YouTube all the time. And I had heard of him before, but not as much as I hear from him now. This is actually the bus I took right here for the members-only tour bus ride. It's a little less crowded today. That was not my driver. I just remember the orange canopy on the top. I think this is the place that I might have gotten the sushi kit, by the way. No. No, it is not. It's Daiso. So we'll go look for Fluffy. I'm just going to walk to the end of the street here and loop around. Roosevelt Hotel. I'm not going to walk in today. I don't want to become too common to them. So they start to boot my arse out of there. Oh my god. How can I have never noticed that Kobe mural before? It's almost hidden. And I kind of look out for them, actually. I was never a basketball fan or even his largest fan, but I kind of look out for them. We've got some people protesting something. I think we'll go check it out. Oh, we don't need that. It's really up high, but it's also really small. Now, Los Angeles is a microcosm of the rest of the United States. You see, it's not all liberal here. We do have our crazy religious folks also. I should walk a little slower so you can watch the look come over these folks' faces as they get a little closer. We were here like a week ago and I never knew that was up here. Is $5 soft serve open? You guys, it looks like there's actually somebody. It looks like it's actually open. I'm a little ice creamed out at the moment.
Orange is the new black.
You know, the last time we walked through the Roosevelt Hotel, and maybe it was another time we were in the Roosevelt Hotel that I mentioned it, there's a staircase in that hotel that, like, Shirley Temple is pictured dancing on, practicing for some movie role. I can't remember what it is. So here we're going to look for Fluffy. Jodie Foster. And Doris Day. Another, speaking of Bob Barker, another person who just loved animals. Look at Norma Shearer's penmanship. Okay. Okay. So, you know, in Ripley's, I don't know if you noticed this, but when you walk up the stairs, they actually are kind of like a piano. So they play like chords. These stairs used to do that too. You would walk up them and they would play the different notes. I have no idea how long that worked for. I feel like not too long. I did put my hand in Marilyn Monroe's hand and it kind of fit. It's weird because my feet aren't able to fit in her. I hope I don't fall off the escalator trying this move. Whoa, what a breeze up my shorts. I do have pretty big feet. I guess my feet got all the height and my hands got nothing. A lovely little place to eat. I've never seen it this busy, but you can see Man's Chinese Theatre, Roosevelt Hotel from up here, and trailer park. But the cooler thing too is you can just bring a lunch up here and eat. And you get this really cool view of the street. So like, I'm not sure what they're setting up for down there at Jimmy Kimmel. I have mismatched feet and hands. I'm a Frankenstar. I have the dainty hands of Marilyn Monroe and the giant feet of Lou Ferrigno. Lou Ferrigno. I just said it like it was one name, first and last. The Cold Stone Creamery smells so good. I am so afraid of this particular escalator. I think we were talking to Mountain Bike Mike yesterday, telling me to give in to my fears. This escalator just... Mountain bike fan, talking about my fear of heights, this escalator, although I cannot even get close to the edge of this, it spooks me. It's just dangling over the side. And if the piano stairs are already broken, like I instantly feel like when I'm near something high, I can't really walk properly. This Hot Topic is one of the only stores that has been in here since the beginning, and I can see why, because they have $7 teas. Oh, they're building a new platform back here, or maybe a whole new restaurant. There used to be like some little steps that you could walk up and get your picture taken in front of the Hollywood sign. Back when we first started doing this, those stairs were still here. I'm not sure what it is. Like it is, Dan, it is like such an unreasonable fear. And it really is unreasonable because, I don't know, I've never fallen from anything high. I used to jump off of a roof on a rope swing. And when I was a kid, we used to cross a trestle. Walk across a railroad trestle. An active one. But in my old age, I don't know. Heights do something to me. You know, mountain bike, I probably have I don't have any known ear issues, but I definitely probably have some degraded ear quality from years of Walkmen. I said Walkmen. Used to be able to turn those cassette Walkmen up much louder than you should have been able to, and I think I ruined my ears with the CD Walkman and the cassette Walkmans of my day. And then the MP3 player. That was never too loud. I also feel like my iPhone is not very loud either. Might have let the Jimmy Kimmel folks in. I've only been to that Lucky Strike once. There's a really old vintage bowling alley, like not far from my neighborhood, called Chateau Lanes. And I kind of love that place. It's a little less trendy and a little more affordable. Joe and I talk about going bowling every great once in a while. I don't know why I walked on this side of the street. I should be on the other side. Let's do the other side of the street. That's the way we came from. Are you talking about the Grammy Museum? Sorry, I might have missed a line. I think the only Grammy Museum is by Staples. You know, I've never been to a live taping. I'm sure we could probably... Doesn't he offer tickets at the end of the show? One time when I was like 12 or 13, I wrote to Saturday Night Live to get tickets. And they sent them to me. I never went. Oh, the Lucky Strike. The Lucky Strike has been there for a while. It's just kind of like a posh-ish bowling alley versus an old-timey bowling alley. And that's why Chateau Lanes is kind of cool, because it's like old school, like a martini on the sign. Not that I'm drinking a martini and bowling. I remember there was a wooden escalator in Boston still in the 90s. I think it was the Back Bay train station. It was a really old, it was the Dartmouth, it was a really small train station. Boylston and something, actually. And it had a wooden escalator, which I hated. I also hated the escalators that had the green light coming from within them. Very Tommy Knockers, Stephen King. It would be a pie salad. A pie salad for one. When we come up to Tequila, we'll definitely walk into the little mall that the Jane's house is at the end of. Should be coming right up in the next block or so. This used to be my favorite pizza place for a really long time. Now it's like the cheapest place on Hollywood Boulevard. Look, another Zoltar. This is where we got our fortune from. I don't have a dollar bill. I could use a fortune though. That one's scary because it's like 100-year-old escalator. That's the kind of escalator that you heard stories about people losing their heel in. I also remember, I feel like the escalators at the Filene's and Jordan Marsh stop are really narrow and old too. Not wooden, but really narrow and old. The, the green lit escalator was at the Jordan Marsh I grew up with, was our kind of family's department store to go to, and there was a Jordan Marsh solo department store in the middle of Bedford, New Hampshire, and that had the green glowing escalators that I was afraid of. I actually, when I was really little, would make my mother take the elevator or the stairs up to the second floor because I would not get on the escalator.
Just want to build strength, increase your mobility, flexibility, and boost your circulation. Ellipse was made for you.
Uh-oh, I'm gonna have to lock that. Britney Spears. She might need a little money though. I'm gonna do a plug check. That Crest building was once a department store. I once went to a party on the rooftop of that because it was also, I think, a bar for a short period of time. And all plugged in. Hey, Simply Sonora. New York City at Christmas time is definitely something to behold. All right, Jane's house is behind this building somewhere. This little mall was what they pushed it back for. We're just gonna walk into the courtyard. Maybe they'll kick us out. Maybe they won't. No, thanks. Thank you so much. So let's just walk up here and see. So they kind of built this mall to look like the house. This is something that we didn't really, a vantage point we didn't see in the Jane's house video. I'm gonna keep going. The secret barn grill. I actually walked over here, I just didn't get this far back. Oh, they've got the whole front of the house covered up. It's pretty cool. I think it's been a couple of restaurants. It just never, because of where it's hidden, it's never been very successful. Also, they shouldn't cordon off the house. Like, let's see if we can see it on the other side area. So what's really weird, there's the house also. What's really weird is is another like old kind of Dutch colonial house looking building, and then a complex over there. I've kind of peeked through the fence and seen that before. I wonder what the other sort of house is. Shingled house back there. It was interesting also to see that picture of the house 50 feet ahead with like at one point a photo mat in the front of it, and at another point like a bunch of cars for sale and a gas pump. Pretty cool. I'm pretty sure it's haunted. Either by the mystery schoolgirl whose shoe they found in the wall afterwards, or by one of the Jane sisters themselves. I think the mystery schoolgirl whose shoe they found in the wall is weird urban legend that old buildings get. I don't believe in the little girl. Although in the video I did slip a ghostly little girl into it. But I do believe in that somebody that wanted to hold on to that house their entire life for their family and for themselves, and also just for standing their ground. I could see how that person's energy, sorry, it's a really California thing, but I could see how their energy could stick around and how that place could be haunted, or something particularly tragic happened in that spot. I could do it. I could. A little car accident. I have a friend who took her children, which is it seems like a vacation that people took when I was a kid, but not somewhere that people would go nowadays for a vacation. But she took her kids to Gettysburg and she pulled up all these pictures and she's like, look at this orb, look at this orb, look at this orb, look at this orb. And I could definitely see that being, oh, this is the second time we've seen this guy in the stripy shirt. I could definitely see like that being a residual. I definitely see how people's energy could be left there. It was such a, a bloody battle with so many people unalived. So we just walked by. We walked by it, and I want to tell a story, but I was um, too busy talking about orbs. I don't know that I need an orb either, but I mean, I've certainly felt things in my lifetime that I can't explain, and witnessed some things that I can't explain. Maybe when it gets a little closer to Halloween, I can share some truly bizarre things that I've experienced in my lifetime. Not to sound crazy. And just, I had never seen orbs like those before. I kind of want to cross the street because this guy's radio is really loud. I watch this show sometimes. I'm gonna cross the street here. I watch this show sometimes called The Y-Files. It's pretty popular. I've been watching it for a while. I love those kind of topics, and I like the way he explores them. The show used to have a lot less like AI generated stuff in it, and was a little more entertaining that way. Or maybe the AI produced pieces were a little more rustic. Now it's a little bit much, but I still watch it. Still good stories. He did a story on Sputnik and Sputnik 2, and that the scientist was actually Ukrainian and not Russian, and that's why we don't know who he is. That's beside the point. What we're getting to here is that then the Americans started their space race and took all these Tesla files and then created a time travel machine. It's really ridiculous. The kid went back to Gettysburg in it, in the story. And that's all I'm going to tell you. I think you should check it out. I forgot the point I was trying to make. I rambled on a little too much. I've gone to the cemetery for the Halloween, for the Dia de los Muertos, and it's really expensive. It used to be something that was like under $30, and then last year I looked up tickets, and if you went in before 6, you paid like $75. If you get premier seating in a graveyard for $125, a VIP, for like 100. It was so ridiculously expensive that I did not go to it. I went to. They held one at Forest Lawn in Glendale, and I went to that. That was during the day. It was way more arts and crafts and family friendly. I've never seen a movie in the graveyard at night though. I also mostly because the line to get into it and that just looks like hell to me. And it's funny because I've lived over there and could have walked there several times in my life. Ice cream, vanilla fudge, and rainbow pistachio. I don't like going to that pizza stop. I think we might have talked about it before. The sign on this coffee place, I think I know where those people with who I missed. Also, back to the movies at the cemetery. They're almost never playing something I really want to see, even for nostalgic purposes. I think they played E.T., and I might have wanted to see that, but I didn't know until the day after. I feel like I should go, at least once. But that's TBD. Oh, sorry. That poor man's trying to sell perfume in there. Trying to cheap out on him. You know, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's been like 1/3 of the vendors that we usually see on the Hollywood Boulevard today. It is Thursday. That might be a little of the reason why, but There's usually also like a hot dog and taco guy up outside of Amoeba. The fruit person's outside of Dunkin's. Nope, no taco guy today. It just seems contagious. I'm gonna cross at Amoeba and then go down towards Sunset. Although Sunset's pretty hot. Oh, there's the taco guys just setting up now. Whew. I don't know what we're gonna have for dinner tonight. I don't know if it's gonna be tacos. I feel like I need to have something non-bread related after eating so much of that bread the past couple days. I wonder if the Bristol Farms is open yet. Been looking at this Bristol Farm sign for, I don't know, since January. I gotta tell you, the best thing about going to Amoeba is actually the used records that you can find for under $5. I almost never buy a new record there, but they have all these bins of like classical music and old out of print records and old records that people sell. And there's some real treasures to be had there. I very rarely get a new album because I usually listen to music on my phone or in my car. So I'll only buy an album under like if I want to collect it for some reason. Wow, the doors of Bristol Farms are open. Must be getting close. The last album I bought, I think, was Mamba for Life. The last album I bought was maybe Tame Impala or El Perro Del Mar. I feel like for tacos we pay like $3 a pop from a place where we used to get them for $1.50, and on Taco Tuesday they were $1. Stupid COVID and economy, just kidding, but not. We're gonna walk up behind Paramount and then walk down that little side street we usually walk down, a little shadier. The one where that house was for rent for $4,000. I think Simply Sonora called about it. See if that's still for rent. The outrageous price of $4,000 a month. I feel like, Joe, we really need to have like some kind of super green salady thing tonight again. I don't know if you're still on and watching, but after days of bread. I bought some pre-made lemonade, like Simply Light or something like that, like 50% less sugar. I prefer the sugary lemonade, not too much sugar. There's something really weirdly artificial tasting about fake lemonade and fake, or like no sugar lemonade and no sugar iced tea. But if you mix them together, it just tastes like an I can't say that, Arnold Palmer, which I love. I'll have to go pick up Joe to get the papaya salad. He's home, hard at work. Hooray! I always hate this. I never know if I should walk in front of the car or behind. I walked in front. I feel like I keep hearing about rents going down and then rents going up, or the medium rent increased, but the rents are going down. I haven't really been actively looking, although I'm always dying to move. I would love to live at this, which is unsafe and abandoned. Peligroso. Oh, still for rent. Can you believe that? Yeah, Arnold Palmer is half and half lemonade and half iced tea. I love like instant iced tea, like that Nestea powder though. Like I love that fake lemon powder flavor. Delicious. I think I've mentioned this before, but I used to like spoon it out when I was a kid. I'm surprised I didn't end up with severe diabetes from all the sugar I had and continue to have. I was for a while confused about the difference between I cannot say it. Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer. I think it's the double R's and my proclivity to not pronounce them sometimes. It's a struggle. I saw the last name Callanan recently. On the corner of Fountain and Western, there's a mortuary. Or there used to be a funeral home or mortuary. Might have pointed it out before. It was called Callanan. And I was looking it up for whatever weird reason. I look up weird buildings. And I kept reading Callahan. Like, Callanan was so foreign to me that I couldn't say it. No, it was Callanan. You know, I don't know if it's still there, but there's a restaurant on Newbury Street, up high on Newbury Street, called Daisy Buchanan's. And for some reason, the last name Buchanan growing up, I just used to read as Buchanan. And sometimes when I first moved to Boston, I would still see that and in my head say Buchanan, even though I know it's Buchanan. I think I have a similar problem with the word Oaxacan. When I see it written out, I cannot say it. But when I don't see it written out, I can say Oaxacan, no problem. Squidward Woodworks. Oh my gosh. Are we still trying to make that a thing from yesterday? I'm kidding. I can't say it 3 times fast. Joe really did invent a new tongue twister. Squidward Woodward. Squidward Woodward. Squidward Woodward. Squidward Woodward. I can't say it any faster though. But also Callahan is kind of like one of those last names that is kind of common but uncommon. It feels like there are a lot of characters, or I don't know, it's a name you always hear, but I don't think I've ever met a Callahan. It's almost like Drysdale. Remember, this is really old, but Beverly Hillbillies, they had Mr. Drysdale, and then they also had a character on the Brady Bunch that had the last name Drysdale too. And that's a name that I know, but I've never met a Drysdale. I've never seen it before either, and so that's why I have a hard time pronouncing Callahan. Well, I did for a few times, but I remember when that mortuary was there. It's now like a youth home, or part of a youth home. The house that I grew up in, the people who owned it were called Concannon. That was their last name. That building on the right is Emerson. So the same Emerson that they have in Boston. I think probably 2005 they brought it here, in that really insane looking building. Oh, there's Hoka. Hoika. The papaya salad, except they're on lunch break right now. There's lots of, I feel like, weird Boston connections here. Like there's a Commonwealth Ave, which I hate. Also, California is a Commonwealth. We have Bunker Hill. It's a much sadder story than the Boston Bunker Hill or Charlestown Bunker Hill. And then Beverly Hills was named after Beverly Farms in Massachusetts, right?
We could have parked for free inside.
Now, if Berkeley, Berklee, had come here, I would think they were following me out here. When I lived in Boston, the last place I lived was near Jamaica Plain, and it was 999. It was like 2003, 2000, something like that. We just started getting West Nile virus the year before. I need a D-ring. The year before, and I swear West Nile virus came out here with me in my house plant. I'm joking. I didn't bring any plants, but I was so afraid of getting stopped at the agriculture place. You know how they pull you over when you enter California? We had so much flour in our car. I was just afraid I was gonna get drug busted. Yeah, I think I go to a cheap gas station. I have to get 91 because that's what the sticker says on my car. Please don't tell me it's a lie or anything. Because I feel better getting 91 gas. Anyway, so that was almost $5, but I have paid over $5 in the past year. I got 4 new tires last week, and I got them from right here. The American Tire Depot. It actually was fast and painless, and I've never bought 4 new tires in my life. Hey, how's it going? I only usually get like a tire when one pops, maybe 2 if they talk me into it. I didn't realize how expensive that was going to be, but I had a nail in my tire in December, and we patched that up. And the idea of driving 300 miles, another 300 miles with that patch was kind of scary to me. Hey, Giuseppe, how's it going? Happy Thursday. So we are just about to the 101. I'm gonna cross over by the Home Depot. This is the Home Depot in my neighborhood, which was actually raided a couple days ago. And I gotta tell you, I'm gonna do a story about one of the buildings behind it, but I walk through this area all the time, and it's like sweet little community of people waiting for work. And then there's also people that make food. There's like a taco lady. Whoa, and I'm losing my gimbal. Not even Happy Gilmore, it's Happy Gilmore 2. My gimbal just shut off for some reason. I probably pushed the button. Anyway, there's like nobody over here now. And there it goes again. Let's see. I might not have any battery anymore. Hold on. My new green sale sneakers. Oh, it's true. No. Hold please. We're almost done, but this is not the send-off I want to give myself. Thank you. Well, I will say this morning there was a vendor there, but there were only like 3 or 4 guys there. Like, we come to this place so much, I know some of these people. Anyway, kind of sucks. They also arrested an American citizen over here because he saw what was going on and was filming them. There's downtown LA. Let's take a peek at the freeway. It doesn't look like you're gonna get downtown too fast, but isn't that always the case? The whole thing is kind of sad. I mean, it's not kind of sad. But going back to the Civil War, the poor people won that. You know, it was the rich plantation owners that wanted to keep the slaves, and it was the poor people and the reasonable people and the smart people that knew it wasn't right. And eventually those poor people got that law changed. Even though Jim Crow was not great afterwards, etc. America has a sort of bleak history. We gotta embrace and accept that. Not embrace it with a hug, but just know that it's there. Anyway, I don't want to bum you out with American History X now. This is the weirdest weird car store ever. It always has insane weird cars in it. Just weird models. I think sometimes classic cars too. Oh, perfect, yeah. Look at that, $12,000. Let me know if you guys want me to bid on anything for you, except for the Tesla. Look at that. It's a little showy for me, but I like it. It's a Lamborghini SUV. That seems counterintuitive. We gotta hope for, and we've kind of got to make that brighter future. There used to be about 20 guys standing here. And then just around the corner, too. Anyway, so I've already written some scripts for podcasts. I just want to be careful not to veer too far from what I do here unless I do it under another moniker because, I know about LA's bad past and America's bad past, but also the good things about both. And I want us to still be fun, but I definitely want to, be political. But we've been working on that for as long as we have been working on this. I think that after Joe produced my vocals last week, we might have a new way to record it so it sounds a little more high quality. So I keep saying it every month, but I think I'm closer than ever. 2 weeks away, as the president would say. I'm sorry. So I mentioned this plenty, but this used to be a giant movie studio. This whole block, and it was a bunch of studios, and now I forget the name of it, but there is like a little remnant of that studio back here. Which we will see. There are actually two remnants. One of it is a building that has been kind of taken over and repurposed, but the other building is a theater that still serves its purpose of being a local theater, a children's theater even. So if you can imagine, back in the 40s, 30s, 50s, studios over here. And then executive ladies. The executives' wives needed something to do with their time. So a little theater, good afternoon, was built over here just after this building. Again, this is where the lady that used to sell tacos was. Usually a bunch of people around here. Hay quilted Alps. Anyway, you can tell even from the sign, like the hand-painted sign on this building, like this looks very like 30s. So this building on the left was the Southern California Women's Assistance League. It just looks like some kind of building from the 60s. But this guy, we might have walked by this before, and I might have mentioned it before. Looks like an old New England style, like summer stock theater. And it still has productions today. It's the Assistance League Theater, and then this used to be the Assistance League on the left. I've never been inside of it. but I love it. Oh, I love shawarma. I'm gonna check that out for sure. We've talked about that place before. We're gonna walk down one more, take a left. I'm gonna cross under the highway because I just love it and it's easier. And then we'll probably sign off for the day. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll be definitely going live tomorrow. Hey, hey. I want to take a second to thank members. If it's your first time here, subscribe and like. We would just love that. It's like a nice hug from the algorithm. But if you've been here for a while and you've become a member, thank you so much. I just want to take this second to call you all out. So thank you so much, starting with my very first member and second member, Cecilia and BD, to my very, very newest member, all the names just erased. Really, thank you for your support, and thank you for allowing me to make those members videos. But again, if you're not liked or subscribed, feel free, give a little like. Give a little like. We are live streaming about 4 days a week. I think we're going straight through Sunday this week. I'm a little iffy on Saturday, but I might. Definitely tomorrow. So, not really a special building, but this is the Capitan funeral home. This orange building. It's now part of Covenant House, which is this slightly darker reddish brick-colored building here. Definitely funeral home vibes. How's it going? I have no idea what you said. Oh, that's really awesome. Thank you so much, James. Thank you so much for your support. Really, really means a lot to us. So up here, secret stairway to the freeway. We're gonna take that secret stairway, and then I'll bid you a fond farewell. I'll bond you a bid farewell. I do want to bring your attention to the fact that on July 18th, Rihanna will be starring once again as Smurfette in The Smurfs. I definitely suggest getting your tickets ahead of time. Ooh, traffic is starting to back up. Who brings a scooter down here? That's what I wonder. We just crossed over a couple of streets above that. We're now looking towards downtown. Woo! I've never seen that before. better have vegan tacos tonight. I feel like I really need to invest in some vegetables. In fact, I thought of serving the chicken salad today on just romaine lettuce instead of bread. But I only had one breast's worth of chicken salad. Whew. All right. Here is your Thursday afternoon traffic report. Don't head south on the 101. Thank you guys so much for joining. And if you guys liked, subscribed, thank you also. I will see you guys all tomorrow. I'll try to put up a post about an hour before I go on. Have an awesome night. Have a great dinner. I am going to try. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye, Allie. Edie, Cecilia. Simply Senora. Mary, Mick, Q. LA Unknown. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you.